This is 6 Minutes, the seriously international daily newscast. It's Friday, June 6th. I'm Anne-Sophie Gonini.
And I'm Rebecca Bontius. Morning has broken in Lima while the Pacific islands of Tuvalu are going to bed. Here in the Worldcrunch newsroom in Paris, it's just after midday. These are the latest headlines. Gaza aid group closes all distribution sites after shootings. Israel strikes Beirut's southern suburbs. And our daily quiz question is about a mission not so impossible for Tom Cruise. Our top story today is Russia's missile and drone barrage across Ukraine early on Friday. The strikes that struck Kiev and elsewhere have killed at least 3 people and wounded 49, according to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. This comes after a warning from Russian President Vladimir Putin, conveyed via U.S. President Donald Trump, that Moscow would respond to Ukraine's recent strikes on Russian air bases and the Crimean Bridge. Turning to the Middle East, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation said on Friday that all its distribution sites were closed until further notice. This follows a series of deadly shootings near the foundation's operations. The U.S. and Israeli-backed group has been criticized by the UN for alleged lack of neutrality. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has confirmed that Israel is arming clans in Gaza that he says are opposed to Hamas. Israel has also carried out a series of airstrikes on Beirut's southern suburbs on the eve of the Muslim holiday, Eid al-Adha. The Thursday night attack, which Israel said targeted Hezbollah's drone production, marks the 4th time Israel has bombed Lebanon's capital since a U.S.-brokered ceasefire with the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah went into effect in November. In the U.S., the Trump administration has imposed sanctions on 4 judges of the International Criminal Court on Thursday over the court's investigation into alleged war crimes by Israel in its war against Hamas in Gaza and in the West Bank. The ICC has slammed the unprecedented move, saying it was, quote, a clear attempt to undermine the independence of an international judicial institution. The U.S. press is also covering a nasty online clash between Trump and Elon Musk after the tech billionaire criticized the U.S. president's centerpiece tax and spending bill. Our More Than a Minute feature today takes us to the border between Mexico and the United States to see up close the impact on migration flows during the early days of the Trump administration. And Sophie, are would-be migrants having second thoughts since Trump returned to the White House?
The migratory flows toward the United States have indeed slowed through a trickle. Remember that Trump campaigned on the promise to clamp down on what he called the disaster of immigration. And his administration has been busy following through on that promise. Speaking with Bogota-based daily El Espectador, Sandra Álvarez, head of an NGO that aids migrants and their families in Mexico, says that since Trump became president, the only migrants trying to enter the US now are a limited number of teenagers and single men. She says, the fear of being deported or mistreated in the United States has become bigger than their fear of continuing to live the harsh reality of their home countries, which is deplorable. Trump's measures to block migration into the US include disabling the CBP-1 application, which allowed about 1 million migrants to process residency applications once inside the country. His administration has also accelerated expulsions, appending migrants' work activities and even their health, as many now fear going to a doctor. Plus, there's Trump's provocative xenophobic discourse against migrants.
Still, some are continuing their quest to make it to the United States. And Sophie, tell us about Yolani Gonzalez.
El Espectador spoke to the 39-year-old mother of 3 from Honduras in the Mexico City neighborhood where she's staying. She has started her journey northward before Trump's election. Before speaking, Gonzalez asked the children, 2 girls aged 5 and 6 and a 4-year-old, to go play a little further so they wouldn't hear the harsh details of their story. There isn't much work and we did so much for our families, she said. That's why last year I made an appointment for the CBP-1 application. I thought I would fly with the children as far as Juarez and hand myself over there. I didn't want to expose them to the land journey after I'd heard what happened to someone else from Honduras.
Does this have consequences beyond the United States?
Yarima Merton Rojas, an activist for migrants coming from Central America, tells El Espectador that many migrants are asking for asylum in Mexico, with Honduras and Costa Rica also acting as secondary choices to live in. Camilo Vélez, who works in Mexico and Central America for the medical NGO Médecins Sans Frontières, says many people are waiting and are hoping that the situation will change. In other words, this is not the end of migration, but a pause.
We're closing things out today with our daily quiz question, which is about Tom Cruise. The movie star has been awarded a Guinness World Record for a stunt he performed 16 times for the latest installment of the Mission Impossible franchise. What was the trick? A. Backflips on the top of a moving train. B. Free climbing without a harness. C. Motorcycle speed driving on buildings. Or D. Burning parachute jumps. The correct answer is D. The Guinness Book of World Records announced that Cruise now holds the title for the most burning parachute jumps by an individual, with a record 16 jumps performed for Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
That's the latest from around the world. If you like this podcast, we'd really appreciate it if you could help us out with a follow, share, and a 5-star rating on your preferred podcasting platform. For more of the best of the international press delivered exclusively in English, visit us at worldcrunch.com. We'll see you here on Monday. Bon weekend!